Alright, 10635 here, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the robots that I grew up with. I did do something similar to this in a previous video, but never did finish it. So this time, I actually took all the robots down and put them all together so I can pretty much tell you about each individual one. I will go a little bit in order, well, actually not really, but I will be starting out with the very first robot I owned, and it will end with the very last robot that pretty much, it is pretty much an end to my childhood. Actually, I don't even know how to describe it, so let's just get to it. Alright, so here, take a good look. Here's the entire variety. And yes, some of these I did grow up with, and I am still really happy that these were the robots I owned when I was a kid. So, let's start off with this little guy. This is a Techno Dinky Bot. This one's the blue version. This is Dad Bot. This is actually the replacement of the one I used to have as a kid. I actually received my first one as a birthday present when I was around 3 years old. And there's actually a little interesting story behind this one. So when we brought it home to an apartment, yeah, I used to live in an apartment back when I was little. I left it in the living room, just roaming around, and when I went to bed that night, according to my mom, it was at least 4 a.m. in the morning, and this robot was in the living room, and it ended up in our bedroom. It literally ended up in the bedroom of my parents. They had a couch there, like a little swinging couch. It actually got stuck under there, and my mom was like freaking out because she didn't know where that noise was coming from until she found this under there. The thing that gets me is that even though this is the newer one, it moves exactly like how my first one did. And the first day I brought this to my dad's house when I got this, I left it in the kitchen, and from there we went to we went to one of his friend's house, and we didn't get back until like almost 10 at night. Once we got back, this robot had only moved about less than an inch throughout like, I guess, in a span of 5 hours or so. It didn't get that far, and I was like, huh. I wonder what happened with the other one that it made it so far. What ended up happening with this one when I had it, I did lose the battery cover and the cover for the watch batteries. I did end up losing both of those. Other than that, I think it got thrown away. If not, it probably got, I think maybe my mom gave it away. I'm not too sure. Next one is Techno, the Techno newborn pup. This one is, of course, yes, this one is a replacement of the original. The one I originally had, I have no idea when I received it, but I do remember having this one because I remember the little annoying yapping at the wow, 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 wow noise it made. I clearly remember that. And I think I must have got this as some sort of gift, probably a birthday present at some point, I think. And what ended up happening to it is, I think I gave it away or my mom gave it away. So it's a possibility that one of her friends actually still has this dog, but I just don't know who it went to. So that was Techno. Let's see, who's another one? Oh, next one is Millennium. This one I think was probably my second robot that I owned. Also, as of right now, pretty much the order this pretty much starts going out of order, so I'll let you guys know when it's going back in order. Millennium Red. This is the replacement of the original one I had. According to my parents, my mom was the one who actually bought me this Millennium robot. I always thought it was my dad who bought it, but no, it was my mom. And I actually did have this for a long time. Like, I had it since I was in the apartment. Well, the first one I did. And at one point, it was standing on like this one Mickey Mouse shelf they just put together, they put on the wall, and this robot was standing on there. Eventually, the shelf gave away. Sorry about that. It gave away, and the robot fell to the ground, and it landed in the trash can. Surprisingly enough, no real damage was done to it. It was just, this foot just came loose, so it was just hanging off. My dad got a screwdriver, popped it back in place, and it was pretty much good as new. The only thing I do recall on it not working anymore was the chest. The chest would always have such a hard time popping open. By the time we moved into our newer house, yes, he was still with me. And I think he still had both his weapons. I think it was the battery cover. He was just only missing, I think. I can't really remember. And at one point in the house, I don't know what happened. I think I left a battery him or something, but I went to go to bed with my mom, as I was still little at the time. And we heard weird noises coming from my bedroom, and the robot was just standing there where I left it, but it was making some really weird noise, and I think it turned out to be some sort of battery. I think the batteries were dead, and I left it on. I really don't remember, but it was still pretty creepy. Other than that, eventually I did take the legs off of the robot to see if I could fix it. It pretty much was a failure. So the robot went in my closet without its legs. Well, the legs were in there with it, but they weren't attached. And he eventually did get thrown away, unfortunately. So that was Millennium Robot. Another one is this one, the black Millennium Robot. This one is, of course, yes, the replacement. No big surprise there. And surprisingly enough, my friend Ivan, he was the one who found the listing for this, and my friend Josh was the one who bought it for me. Now, what I love so much about this is that it was brand new in the box. Brand new in the box since like 1999? No, 1998 or 99? Or 2000?
That one actually, I think it was, yeah, 2000.
2000? Alright. So this one was brand new since 2000s, and it's pretty much exactly, it's funny because when I got my first Black Millennium, it was brand new. This one I got used because that's how it was my first one. I don't really remember getting it new, but this one on the other hand, yes. Unboxing this one completely just, oh my god, it was amazing. Because the first one I got, we bought it in the craft store. Some sort of like craft store, and it was like they had a little toy section. There was actually 2 robots I bought from there, except the other one isn't here, which I'll get to that later. This one we bought there, brought it home, and I remember I took it out of the box, and as you see right now, it was this nice and shiny. It was practically brand new, of course. And the minute I pushed the buttons, it was amazing because the gun is super bright because it has a green, like a green tip, and the chest was super bright as well. And what ended up happening with this one at some point, same fate as this one. The walking became weird. I took the legs off, and it eventually got thrown away. It's a really big shame, but it is nice to actually have these 2 again, because I did struggle a lot. I struggled to find him, and this one was my biggest struggle to find. Let's see who's next. We'll go with Thunder Warrior. This is Thunder Warrior Blue. He's a mix of a new and original. What's new, the retired robot itself is a replacement, but the sword that he holds came from my very first one, my original of this robot. It's actually funny. The only reason I ended up keeping the sword for so long was because, I mean, it was the only thing left of the robot. Which, what ended up happening with the first one is it still walked. It just could barely spin. It would always get stuck when it would spin. So at one point, I took the wheels off, thinking that maybe he would glide on carpet. I don't know. I was really stupid at the time. I didn't know any better. And at one point, I actually put him in the shed. So me and a few friends went into my shed at that time period to go dig something out. The robot fell, I didn't realize it, and one of them stepped on it, not even knowing, and broke the robot in half. Was I mad? Oh, you bet I was really mad. But I mean, I didn't just tell him to go away or anything. I picked up the robot and just put it in my room. And at one point, I actually did take it apart to start fixing it. From there, I did reglue the 2 broken paths of it. One was like the piece that connects into the legs, and the other one was a gear that made it spin. I reglued those 2 back together, and I'll be honest with you guys, I do not think it was going to work, because the way it got glued into place, it was completely off-centered, so I don't even think it was going to work in general. But I was in the process of fixing it. Everything was assembled. All he needed was wheels. He had the wheels, it was just the rods. So what I was going to use for rods was going to cut some rods. I was going to cut them from a paper clip. But I didn't finish that in time because I ended up leaving to California by myself for vacation. So I can, hang out with my family and all. Once I came back, I went to my room and the robot was gone. I asked my mom, hey mom, where's the robot that I was working on? And she was like, wait, you were working on it? I'm like, yeah. And from there, she threw it away. And and surprisingly enough, this wasn't too long ago. This was back in, I think, I think 2011. That robot was still with me pretty much, but 2011 was its last year once it got back.
2011?
Yeah,
Holy shit, I did not know that.
that robot was with me for quite a while. It actually managed to survive that long.
Shit.
So yeah, and all I had left was a sword, and many robots would actually hold a sword. This power destroyer right there was actually one that was holding the sword at one point. I restored the contacts, and now the sword lights up. Because this sword has not worked in so many years when my Thunder Warrior had it, because the bulb was actually broken and burnt. And now, of course, here it is, the replacements. All he needs now is a shield, because my original one did still have its shield, but eventually it snapped off. So all what was in there was just the piece that would go in there to be held. So that was Thunder Warrior. And also, for a lot of you who I didn't mention, I am on a call with Zoc635. Say hi.
Fuck you.
God damn it. Alright. Next one up, Power Destroyer. Now, this robot has been through a lot, but I will say this. This, of course, is not my original. This one I actually got from the flea market. But my original one that I have, I actually got in Christmas. Don't know what year. I can't quite remember how old we were, but both me and my uncle, we both got a Power Destroyer for Christmas from, in quote, Santa, which was actually my dad. My dad was the one who purchased two of these robots, and according to him, he got them from some sort of dollar store. And I will say this was probably one of the most badass robots I've ever seen during my childhood, because, I mean, he has the he sounds like Darth Vader, but, and yet, the voice is so, like, I don't know how to describe the voice. It's pretty badass. I'll just say that. I mean, the fact that, like, his weapons he has a giant shield, a giant gun. I mean, what else can you expect? But other than that, one funny thing is that my uncle, he still has his original Power Destroyer. It's actually currently in the shed, and he's had it for so many years. If he were to ever give it to me, then that would be awesome, because that means I would pretty much be regaining my original one, because we both got him at the same time. And his is still in pristine condition. I'm pretty sure the head's just covered in dust, but it still holds all the weapons. So from there, what ended up happening with that one is, it was fine. It fully worked at the time period. One of my mom's friends came over to get their kid wanted, not their kid, but the mom was wanting to get her hair done, and my mom, like, works with hair and stuff. The kid got hold of the robot, dropped it, and this arm just breaks off. It's being held by wires at the time. It broke off. I was really mad, but my parents got a crap load of tape and just taped all over it, and it was like that for the rest of its life. Until then, at one point, he stopped walking, and I didn't know why he stopped walking. I didn't know it was a gear of some sort, because when I lift him up, his legs would actually still move until I set him down. We actually opened up from the back. We didn't see any problem because we didn't know where to even look. And then from there, the cannon stopped working, which I'm pretty sure was because we forgot to put the belt back on. Other than that, I left him without legs, and he got thrown away. This one here, I actually got from the flea market a few years ago, and boy, you would guess it, I was super excited to see this. Because at that time period, I couldn't find this one specifically on eBay. It was actually quite scarce at the time, but now they're common. But yes, this one came with no weapons whatsoever until I got a second red, and I just scrapped it up. The arms and the weapons came from the second one. So he is complete 100%, has a box. He actually has his own box now, which is perfect, so he's practically, like, complete. Alright, so part 2 will be up in a bit.